distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the EON League. It's going to be your boy, Aggressive, bringing all the action with Cristo on my side. And honestly speaking, after the hectic couple of days that we had, it's good to be back on R6. And honestly speaking, I think I had the most hectic week this time around. Too many casts, too many productions, but we're now back here in Europe, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Plunderstück going up against Pannuhuone. And now both of these teams, they are going to be ones for the books. Because don't forget that Pannuhuone arguably is like the best team in this entire league right now. And they're looking to get to that grand final spot, which will be either tomorrow or the day after.
From what I know, it is going to be tomorrow because it's going to be in the weekend from what I can tell. But at the same time, Pannuhuone, they actually ended up here by losing against a team. I forgot the organization. Make Your Destiny yesterday, even though they were able to put up an amazing fight. But when it came to the late game, somehow they kind of fell short. And that kind of surprised me because on some certain maps, or should I say on all three of the maps, they really had a dominant start. But somehow on the map of Clubhouse, they just fell flat. And I don't know if that was something that was intentional or what, but in the end, that was something they kind of couldn't recover from. But at the same time, Plunderstück, they also played against the same opposition, and I really hope and really expect that they're also going to be having their own homeworks being done because, truth be told, both of these teams have vendettas against the team MYD, or previously known as RPT, is back. So it all comes down to the factor that which team gets the advantage, the opportunity to take their revenge and which team's journey ends here. We have the map pool in front of you now. We have Nighthaven Labs, Skyscraper, and Clubhouse. Truth be told, it's kind of exactly identical what we had yesterday, except for Skyscraper being picked up, aside from Consulate. So truth be told, I'm expecting something unusual because you really don't see you don't see Skyscraper a lot of times because a lot of teams tend to ban it out as a whole because of the runouts and the exceptional aggressiveness people used to have. But then again, I think this is something the players of probably Panu is going to be opting for.
Yeah, another big question mark is the way that the map selections have been going as well. We've seen throughout this entire league that everyone's kind of been leaning towards Nighthaven Labs quite often, picking this map up on every single turn. And in a lot of ways, this has now turned into be one of those fan favorite maps. Generally, from our region at least, we always are expecting Clubhouse to be that first initial pickup because everyone just loves this map to bits. But now, as Siege X has developed, a lot of people are now starting to figure out the meta a little bit more as well. Nighthaven Labs seems to be that first initial litmus test that really tests whether or not a team knows the basics of Siege when it comes down to playing for the vertical lines of sight and playing for stability as well. I used to hate Nighthaven Labs. I think you remember as well, like when we first played this map, I was so lost, but the more I casted, the more I played, I can see why people have started to love this map in particular. There's so many different options that you can go for. There's no set one strat that you have to use every single time. There's multiple different options that you can go in.
Absolutely. Truth be told, Nighthaven Labs is a map which can be defined with one word only. That is creativity. The more creative you are, the more creative your approach is, you're going to have the upper hand. And as you just said, there is no set amount of ways that you'll have to approach the map. You can have your own way, and sometimes you can even ignore the bare basics. Where in the map Clubhouse, for example, you need to do the basics, which the players of Pannuhuone did kind of lack, especially when it came to taking map control. But that's not something we're going to be focusing a lot at the moment, as they'll have to start things off on the map of Nighthaven Labs and the ban phase as well. I'm not very surprised, but I am kind of shocked to see both of the electrical operators, or should I say the anti-breach operators, being taken out. So from the looks of it, Pannuhuone wants to have complete control when it comes to having the breaches. But I mean, understandable, because they have two hard breaches available on their arsenal along with a Monty as well, which is also going to be countered by a Clash. So really not surprised with what can be happening in the entirety of the game, but I really want to know if shield meta is something both of these teams are going to be capitalizing on, because I know the side of MYD is going to do the same thing.
Shields are like the best thing you can have on this particular map too, because of the way that's it's generally played out, right? You always will have those options where, yeah, the shields are gonna be a nuisance for you. Blitz as well with the Monty has been something that runs amok on the entire server, and in a lot of ways, like you have to expect it, right? That you're gonna make mistakes, and some of those mistakes do happen because you're not really able to get that proper spacing for yourself as a team, especially on the attack side or even on the defensive side. But the Clash and the Monty just are so good at holding space that, yeah, if you're able to communicate properly with your team, you can easily take over the entire map. But for now, though, take a little bit of a reset here and a chill pill as well. A couple of these walls are being opened up by the Thermite. Now, the real question is, how will the members of Plunderstück really try to turn this one around on its head? Because overall, the setup's been looking quite clean, I would say, overall, as both sides, they're not really over-aggressing onto any of these positions. They have good spots here. They're trying to get the read, and it seems the Plunderstück, they're going to try to make their first initial move to maybe possibly get a kill on this breach, but instead, they're going to give this one up, and Cloudy, he doesn't want anything to do with it.
Well, they are giving away the space, but they kind of know that there's a long line of set available as well from the Monty. Not sure if they know it's from the Monty or not, but at least they know that they cannot contest that angle for any longer. There are C4 holes in case someone tries to aggress onto this position. They're also trying to protect the mirror windows with the mute jammers, but for now, there are not much casualties happening, even though the round is slowly but surely coming down. Okay, what the hell? That is a recruit just diving in and getting a triple kill out of the side of IT. Where were the players onto the... Where were the players in the catwalk? Finally, he will be shut down, but truth be told, the striker has already done his job, and now look at the Clash. He's also on the PW over here, doing God's work over here. What the actual hell just happened here? I don't get it. I know
the striker walked in for free.
He took the control of IT and just walked in like it's... What?
It's his house, dude. He just has the keys. He just unlocked the door and he just walked in. None of the members, I'm pretty sure that the defenders thought that, hey, it's our teammate. There's no way someone's going to walk in from IT, right? Nope, that's not going to be the case. Lambie just slipped in through the cracks here. Plunderstück, this is one of the bigger problems that they had previously when they were playing their previous matches as well. They just keep on leaving open space. They keep taking it away from them. Like, I will never understand this. Plunderstück as a team, they're incredible. Their aim is insane, to say the very least. They know what they're doing when it comes on to mechanics, but as soon as you put them in a little bit more of a macro situation, they kind of leave a lot of gaps. And Pannuhuone is one of those teams that you cannot leave those gaps against, because as soon as you do, they find that one small crack in your armor, especially on that attack side, and they will use it against you over and over again until you try to find a fix for it. And as soon as you find that fix, knowing Plunderstück, another portion of the map is going to be a little bit more loose when it comes to the overall defense. Losing out on 3 members like that, the striker being able to find 3, not a single trade to come in, it's just unheard of. And the way that it's being planned out and played, Pannuhuone, they've already made a statement here in this first initial round. The real question will be whether or not they're going to be able to carry on that momentum.
If they're allowed to carry on that momentum, that's going to be a real problem for the side of Plunderstück, because again, that round in particular just showcase the players of the attacking side, or should I say Pannu, just ignoring the strategies as a whole. They don't even care if there's a lot of walls available. They're just going to be distracting and just diving in. Again, these are rounds which are not supposed to work, but sometimes it just gets you off guard, and that's exactly what happened. And so Plunderstück, you better be ready for this, because here on out, if you're putting yourself on an off guard situation, I really don't see you having any form of advantage whatsoever. But this time around, I do see them having much more confined strategy. Even though it kind of looks identical in my opinion, but not having the clash is kind of a focus that, okay, now we do want them to have some space, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we do not bank upon a one particular operator. We know that they're going to be playing Montagne, but what if we take advantage of that and make sure that they have a less gun compared to what we have? As of now, the attackers, they are blitzing through real fast over here, because they are able to take control of electric as well from the looks of it, and now opening up IT. Not sure if they are going to be focusing significantly onto the catwalk side, but if they do so, they're going to be having the same recipe again as they had last time. But gotta admit, Lambie really putting up an amazing pressure onto the IT wall in case there are any form of utilities available, except for a mute jammer. I don't think anything was there. Even if it was, chances are very high it was already taken out. But then again, the defenders, looks like they're kind of focused on okay, I understand that he's trying to make sure that nobody comes on this area, but at the same time, he even tried to play those vertical angles which have been created by the recruit herself, or should I say himself. Actually, Striker is a female character, so that's why I had to refer that. But as of now, if they're not aware of this, the timing is gonna be key. The Goyo's really overthinking this. There's nobody outside the window, my guy. You have to find the player. There is a player who's already blinded by the light, but he has already made the call. Where was the call out?
I have no idea. The members of Pannuhuone, they have been easily turning around on a lot of these openers, especially when it comes down to IT room. Seemingly, this is that one spot that they just can't get a proper read of, but that's going to be your ace now taken off of the board. But still, the trades are going to be coming through from either side. The vertical lines aside, always a problem, but still, they're able to get the kills. Meaty going in strong. The plant's already coming in. The Monty being an absolute nuisance to society. Knows the angle, tries to bash him down. He's not going to be able to get a kill, but his teammates are able to capitalize. And now it's all up to the Goyo to come in strong for this last and final kill. Tries to look for the kill, but Meepy's just way faster on the trigger, shutting it down, and it's going to be Pannuhuone, ladies and gentlemen, taking a 2-0 for their team. And this is the beauty of Siege at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. That one small opener, I kept on telling you, right, that IT room is their biggest weakness. And for some reason, that IT room and, of course, the balcony side just keeps on being given away. You have a chance to pick up on an Azami, and we talked about this as well. If you have an Azami, it's a little bit easier to hold that line of sight onto balcony, because you can place those keeper barricades to give you that extra bit of protection that you would need to try and hold onto those lines. Monty is 100% gonna get banned out as soon as the ban rolls in the next round, because this one Monty has been so good at holding out on all of these spaces.
That's for certain, but at the same time, what doesn't make sense to me is why the defenders are overthinking so much. Again, the goal had a prime position to deny any form of entry coming into the IT stairs, but he was overthinking so much that he was focused on the window. And that's just like that. I was hearing the sound cues myself, and I was like, okay, did he not hear that? Because the recruit literally vaulted. Because mind you, it was opened up by the recruit himself. As in, those were can openers, and you cannot just walk through can openers unless you put it on the very bottom level of a reinforcement. So you definitely heard the vault prompt coming out. It also applies to Ace as well. Ace on Havana in particular, if you don't clear out the bottom portion of the wall. But that's also the disadvantage of those particular operators. If you cannot use those as a defender, this is gonna be a huge one for you because you may not have the best of it. And as of now, I think the attackers are already ready because they know there is going to be a Monty ban. But then again, they're just putting up another ace up their sleeves as they're playing Blitz as well. And now look at that, Azami on the roam. I'm kind of expecting that he was holding onto the game room side to hunker down onto bar as well. But guess what? Your over aggression, you have that barricaded. And now that you're focused on the Blitz, the Dokkaebi is going to just take advantage of that. And now you're already on a 4v5 situation with 2 minutes left on the clock.
Another big thing has to be, right, that Pannuhuone are really good in their overall drone work. The drone catching on the Azami and instantly being able to capitalize on that information. Very few teams are going to be able to do that. And this is just one of those. You've taken out the Ram as well. That's one of the vertical players just completely getting shut down. So Plunderstück are looking to be in a pretty good spot because none of the other players can really play for those vertical lines of sight as easily unless we do have a secondary shotgun in play from the striker here. So let's just see if they're going to be able to go in for this one. They do have the first bits of sound here. The goal is positioning. Now Reveal goes in for the kill. He's not going to be able to find it, but that's a lot of damage already being given. He can instantly jump in and possibly go in and try to find it. That's going to be the Blitz running across, but gut shot coming in from the side of the goal, ladies and gentlemen, but instantly traded on back. 3 versus 2 now. The call's going to be coming in from the Dokkaebi. And now the last 2 players already spotted. They know the exact positions. It's all about the timing and the, of course, overall execution. With 1 minute left on the clock, they have ample amounts of time to try and mount this and take their time to do so.
Exactly. Now with the Legion being offside as well, that's going to be giving them an advantage they didn't ask for, but still they have. But now with the Dokkaebi probably hacking the cameras, they don't have the option to play flexibly. They'll have to destroy the cameras they have, which could have been used by their own teammates. And that's exactly where Dokkaebi shines the brightest, because you have you can create the dilemma to destroy the opponent's utilities without even using much. You just kill one of the players and allow your own team to use them. And what are the defenders to left with? Either they can leave them be or risk having those be used by the opposition. And that's exactly what the attackers are going to be focused on. And unfortunately, we do see the soup can being deployed on the reinforcement. Kind of funny to see that. As if it is a game of dominoes or something. I don't know. There was a Chinese game where you had to like take the pieces out of Jenga. Yeah, exactly. So it does give some memories of those, but as of now, Plunderstück not looking the greatest, but I think after the bans, they're gonna be looking a lot more comfortable. And as you said, no surprises to see Monty being taken out.
Yeah, this is not that big of a surprise, right? You want to take this away as quickly as you possibly can here. Blitz, though, it's still going to be a pickup for them regardless of whatever happens. And the Blitz, I honestly do believe for Pannuhuone is a little bit better to have. They love to go in for more aggressive rushes, and the instantaneous push is just way better for them. But overall, I don't know. Pannuhuone are just in a league of their own, it seems, especially when it comes down to being much more organized in their overall rushes. And Plunderstück are just not really communicating with one another on how they want to hold on to a lot of these lines of sight, especially when it comes down to that balcony hold. You need to be careful of what you're really looking to do, because these mistakes that you're making, especially when it comes down to the overall crossfires and the trades that you're trying to fight for, I've yet to see a single situation where the members of Plunderstück are really playing crossfire angles with one another, especially when in this particular map too, if you create the proper rotations and lines of sight, you can easily get multiple different angles with your teammates that there's that in no possible way, even if they do have a shield, you have to worry about it as an attacker, as a defender, sorry.
Yeah, that's something I couldn't have said better myself, but it also comes down to the fact that if they really want to play that on their strategy, because when it comes to doing those particular stuff, you do have to give away some particular angles. For example, you may need to give away the fountain side, and to some degrees, it does feel like the attackers are kind of focusing on those particular angles. For example, there was a Valkyrie who was playing inside of the restaurant area, so he could have been applying onto the fountain side, but now he has been taken down instantaneously. And now I want to know if the drone works of the players of Hanu is just that unrivaled, because every single time there's a roam work, they just happen to know where the players are gonna be, or it's just dumb luck. Because now that I think about it, most of the times their entries are starting onto the kitchen hallway. Either it be an Azami, it be a Valkyrie, and whatnot. So my question is to Plunderstück, that is, you know that they are getting entries over there, so why would you give away your position over there? Again, it might be dumb luck, but it is there. And with the defender already down, yeah, you do have the Valkyrie who will be on cam duty now. Hopefully, none of the cameras have been taken out, but think about it. You had an MPX, probably a C4 as well, which are not in play anymore.
That C4 loss is probably one of the bigger things for them to worry about. But at least with the Valkyrie cams, they do have that extra bit of information that they can play for. You still have the mute with the C4 in hand to really cause a little bit of damage here. But you can tell that the members of Pannuhuone now have slowed themselves down, just allowing the defenders to just fester in the positions that they're already in. Want that blitz to get into a good spot, but with only 1 minute left on the clock, they need to be quite quick with the overall execution. This is a bit worrisome here because Pannuhuone, they're losing out on time and they're losing out on bodies as well. That's going to be your striker now going down. Yeah, you lose out on a bit of utility, but that extra weapon if you could have had to throw onto the side is just so crucial. Positionally, I don't really like what they're trying to do because Pannuhuone, they're wasting a lot of time, and this time is very necessary for an execute over onto command center.
The looks of it, they're going to be losing IT that quickly as well, and now they have to play from the side as well. But now with 35 seconds left on the clock, the biggest rival that Hackers will have to worry about is the smoke and the clash. But it looks like there's already a casualty on the floor. The mute is down, and now no more C4s available. For the right side of Live Blunted, able to find something, but the flash has also been taken out. Now the shield does stay active though, but still, that's not something they'll have to worry about. Oh no, the blitz is nearby, and now there's not much answers they'll have to work with. It is going to be Jaeger. Go for something, but the problem is the coordination and the map control of the attackers is just too unparalleled at this point. And the attackers, they're just taking full advantage of the paranoia being displayed from the side of Plunderstück because they just don't have any answers. For example, the mute kind of knew there will be a push onto IT, but he was caught off guard by the blitz. I think it was the blitz or someone with a shield at least. Yeah, it was the blitz who downed him. And once there was a backup to revive the mute, well, guess what? There's a blitz right next to the IT side, on the electric side as well. So with that, the fear factor getting into the veins of the side of Plunderstück is immense from the side of Pannuhuone or
Pannuhuone. Pannuhuone. Ah, yes. When the German guy told me about Plunderstück, but he cannot pronounce Pannuhuone.
Dude, there was an umlaut on the name.
I love it. Hey, but these players are very creative when it comes down to the names. That is for certain, ladies and gentlemen. But creativity needs to be inside of the game as well. And we can tell that the members of Pannuhuone, they're the most creative ones when it comes down to their attack side. Every single time we see them getting that opening kill first. Because Plunderstück, yeah, I get it. You have that urgency to get that opener pick for your own entire team, right? But you need to allow the clash to give you that spacing too. Like, I don't understand why the clash is just anchoring on one particular side. This is something that we talked about too, right? Previously, like you were explaining it to me. As a clash, you should be at the place where there's the most amount of people because that's where you want to hold down the line. You don't want to be on the opposite side of the map where no one is present. That's why the clash needs to be the one who rotates from entry to entry so that at least she can keep on gathering information and hold them from really pushing themselves in. And then you tell one of your other teammates who are the anchors, maybe you have mute on your team or even a smoke to hold on to the other position so that they can at least slow down the attack from that portion. And then your team can start to isolate out the players on the opposite side of the map. With the clash, you can be so much more aggressive, allow your defender teammates to get a lot more space to play for. They're not really doing any of that. The clash is just there, staring at you like a cam. So why would you pick a clash in that case and not just go in for a maestro? The maestro can do the exact same thing.
You know, when Clash was introduced to the game, the first line the developers used was Clash is an operator who has the access to go anywhere where the other defenders cannot. Which can be somewhere, which is an indication you want to put the Clash in a position where the attackers are not going to expect, number one, and secondly, they're going to make them feel uncomfortable. For example, whether it be a run out, whether it be something where they have to take control. So with that clash, you may not get the frags, but at the same time, you can burn a lot of time. From the looks of it, the attackers are not burning any of it for the time being, as there will be a warden who kind of for no reason knifed the air. I think he was trying to bait out the shield to move it, but it was Push Diamond, who's a lot more better on these regards, and he will continue to go for the plan with 1 minute left on the clock. And now the attackers, they have the vertical angles as well, but looks like the horizontal angles are something they'll have to worry about. And now bodies are flying here and there as the Ella and the Legion, the defenders which were introduced in Operation Blood Orchid, needs to make it happen. 2v2 situation, the tags are going to be there onto the Legion as the Deimos is trying to find the tracks, but he understands that he will not have too much of an advantage here as the Thermite is left all by himself onto the IT side, needs to recover the diffuser, which will be difficult, but still, with ample amount of time, they should be just fine diving in. But now diving in is going to be just one challenge, as the moment he dives in onto the window, he will be goo-mined. At least from what I can remember, the tracks will be coming in onto the Ella, as he's trying to confirm exactly where this Ella might be. He's really far away. The Legion is nearby. He may not be aware of it.
Oh no, he knows. I think he knows. He heard the sound. Yep, that's gonna be Meepy who gets the kill. They heard the sounds of the player. They're gonna be able to run this one down. They get a free play. This is so perfect coming in. The Grizzbots are gonna get some issues from the side, and it's gonna be Lambie. Instantly pulls out the pistol and goes in for the kill, Western style. It's a wild, wild west out here with the Deimos being the sheriff for it all. As the members of Pannuhuone, they take a 5-0 scoreline, giving a statement for map number 1 up against Plunderstück. And oh boy, I don't know how else to say it, Christo, but map number 1 could be all but over unless Plunderstück can go in for something incredible.
We'll need something incredible. We'll need a miracle to make this happen now, because the way the players of Pannu is taking these fights head on, Plunderstück just doesn't have any answers. Again, they are on defense on the map of Nighthaven Labs. I'm not saying that Nighthaven Labs is extremely defensive favored, but you can have the moments where you can be creative as well as a defender. But for the time being, it kind of feels like the players of Plunderstück, they're just going for those default rank setups, which we usually see on pretty much any elo. But it's fine from their side because, again, they were able to halt the time for some extents, but to some degrees, this is not quite working against the side of Pannu, because they just know how to take this head on. And now with the consideration, they're just running this blitz exclusively. Well, you really need some answers to that, because undoubtedly your position is going to be banking on those blitzes, or should I say the shield as a whole. It is the moment, or it is indeed a moment we'll have to be a little bit more indirect on your approach. Okay, well, 1 second. Deimos, hello, you cannot be allowed to do this. He's just walking up the stairs. There is nobody who's on the camera. Come on, people, you have to be careful. There's nobody to be seen. And the Azami, he was already down, but hopefully for him, he is the one who's going to have the best end of that gunfight. And hopefully for Cloudy, he's going to be able to punish the Deimos as well for this aggression. But this also comes down to the factor that how is Pannuhuone allowed to be that goddamn aggressive when it comes to their own attack and being a solo player?
Yeah, I have no idea. They're getting so much of this free space, almost out of nothing. They invest like no utility, right? They invest one drone. One drone is all that it takes for them to instantly go in for these fights. Yeah, finally Plunderstück are able to show signs of life, but at what cost, right? Look at the amount of space they've already been given away. Pannuhuone are like knee deep in enemy territory, in for the angle. The Blitz needs to survive this one though. If the Blitz dies, I don't believe they're gonna have much of a chance going into this round. Opened up the frontal wall here, as the Azami is just causing a little bit more of those problems, as they're making sure that no real player is gonna go out scotch-free. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade coming in from either side. That for now though, they've slowed down drastically. Members of Pannuhuone, they need to figure out a plan on how to push this one next, because if they start rushing their overall approach, they're gonna make these mistakes, and that is gonna be the Blitz. Instantly being shut down, brought back down to earth, and finally Plunderstück, they could possibly take this round away for themselves.
Chances are very high, because now they have real aggressive positions onto the walls as well. I do love the position of the Legion in particular, because now that he is inside of IT, it's going to be near impossible for the Thermite to engage that. But at the same time, the Ace is real far away onto the connector window, and now he's spotted out as well thanks to the bulletproof cameras, but the P5s do be coming in. Cloudy connects, and now it's all up to Nike. or should I say Mike, I think? I don't know. Yeah, it is. Sorry, Nikes, to make some differences here. Finds the first with the AK-12, needs to find a couple more. And hopefully for him, he does have the best gun available to the attackers in the game. But it is gonna. It's also gonna need a moment where he can isolate those 1v1s, or should I say the opposition happen if they happen to give him the 1v1s he's looking forward to, which is something they shouldn't. The diffuser is nearby, but somehow he finds the second one as well, and now this is looking very winnable in my opinion. All he needs to do is find one more kill, and he is gonna be golden. He doesn't have the diffuser, but sometimes he doesn't even need to. But hopefully for him, or should I say for the defenders, they have a crossfire setup. Hopefully for the smoke, he was not playing aggressively whatsoever, playing onto that electric door. And hopefully for the side of Plunderstück, that is going to be one round. But mind you, Pannuhuone is still on 4 rounds of a lead. And now they're on defense as well. If the players of Plunderstück needs to make a comeback, it's going to be challenging, but it is still possible. It all comes down to the factor what operators will be banned from each of the sides.
Just gonna need to wait and see where this is gonna go, ladies and gentlemen. Opener pretty much up and present on either side of things, as this side swap pretty much is now gonna guarantee 2 different things: that either Pannuhuone are just significantly stronger on that defensive side, and Plunderstück are just not gonna have much of a chance, or Plunderstück are gonna be able to showcase to us exactly why they deserve to be in that grand final stage. You can already tell that it's very generalized bans, right? Something that we see in our region too. Both of the regionals instantly being shut away. Pannuhuone instead, they did choose to pick out on the ace, and of course bring the Blackbeard back down to earth, because I do believe that 2 morale will be a big pickup for them. And yes, it is going to be a 2 morale, which will slow down the Thermite from getting those breaches open that quickly.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
Or
attackers.
they could be doing the mirror trick. I kind of forgot about that, like the 2 morale mirror.
Yeah.
That's also another thing.
I kind of witnessed that yesterday, but sadly it was not very successful. I don't know if it was.
If it
maybe
works,
to
it's so good though.
it is insanely good because you don't lose too much utilities, and at the same time, reaching that wall becomes way more difficult because the mirror window there. Because yeah, you may be able to shatter that window, but if the mirror happens to keep the window open just in case, that's gonna be a bigger challenge, because a lot of times
10 seconds left
it's really easier to go for a window which is not, I mean, or any particular area which is completely shut off, because you know for a fact that you're going to be safe. But if it has even a smaller hole, it can be played by either side, usually favoring the defenders if there is not a Maverick available. So that is some factors I think they're going to be keeping in hand. I do see a Mira window kept and not being deployed, so chances are very high they're going to try to do that. But I do see a Twitch as well, so looks like the players of Plunderstück, they have indeed studied their opposition, because they want to make sure those mirror windows are not going to be staying up anytime. And now it will be indeed slowed down by the Tubarão, or jammed by the Tubarão. Not sure if the mirror is going to be doing anything. Yes, she will. Well, it happened.
Got it. Yeah.
Yep, he did.
I mean, it worked out. They broke open the wall.
What the hell?
And yup, I love that toss. That toss was so well planned out. Don't forget, right? Because they're trying to break the mirror window, you have a player standing on the opposite side of IT. He broke the mirror window, allowing the mirror to go in for a free toss right straight through the window, because the Thermite or the Maverick was really close onto that wall. In this case, it wasn't the Maverick, but instead it was Glass who was trying to go in for an upside down rappel. So this was so well planned out. This is Pannuhuone for you. They have done this in the past as well, in this exact same map. But instead, it was a Maverick on the opposite side trying to open up the bottom portion. The Mira, it was Meepy actually, who tossed in a C4 on the whole of the Maverick and then killed it.
I gotta love how he also memorized the lineup as well, because he took cover behind that shelf on IT, and then he was really ready and calling out for his teammates to open up the window, as he actually did. And the moment it came down, nobody, and I repeat, nobody would have expected that to come out, especially a Glass who was playing aggressively on that mirror window. That is gonna hurt quite a lot from the side of Plunderstück now, as they're already down, almost down to the recruit as well. Hopefully for them, they have Lambi on the floor, but I'm not sure if he will be picked up anytime soon. The runs are gonna be there, as I do believe it is gonna depend on who's gonna have the honor to do so. It will be Nike, however, getting rid of Vasil. And from the looks of it, Plunderstück, they're really losing bodies really quickly over here with 50 seconds left on the clock. They'll have to dive in. Hopefully for them, they will find a confirmation onto the Tubarão. 40 seconds on the clock. The shotgun is nearby. The mute is waiting for it. Do not try to poke the bear here. That oh, the timing. If he finds,
He's
what the
gonna need
hell,
to
man?
peek. He's gonna need to peek this. 3, 2, 1. Yep, that's gonna be the first sound. That's gonna be the second bit of sound as well. He missed the shot, but he's gonna be able to find the second. And that is the clearance for you, ladies and gentlemen. Last player already spotted it. It's gonna be Push Diamond to easily finish everything off. A pipeline dream for our boy Cristo, but for everyone else, it's there.
You know, imagine a world where the mute looked away and somehow the timing was there and somehow he found the kill, because that is siege timing at its prime as well, Aggie. For a second, I was like, okay, is that really gonna be happening? In a tournament match where he gets timing, where he could have been the make it or break it, but hopefully for him, he was able to make it for his team. And now the players of Pannuhuone able to keep themselves on match point on map number 1. So, question remains if Plunderstück can make a comeback on the first map of the on Nighthaven, or are they gonna be focusing a lot more on the map of Skyscraper? Yeah, they can definitely focus on Skyscraper, because I don't know if Skyscraper has been streamed before, at least not in my knowledge, but if it was not, they can bring something out of the hat, because Nighthaven Labs and Clubhouse in particular, these have been streamed and they know exactly how each other, the teams know how each other play. So if they happen to focus on those factors, the team who was the team the most probably will have the biggest advantage. But it might be a very early call for me to make it for the time being, because again, anything can happen in any given time, but the setups do be looking very standard, except for the Animus hatch not being reinforced for some reason, except maybe he's gonna be holding that. Yeah, he will.
Yeah, we're gonna need to wait and see what it's gonna look like, because already the members of Pannuhuone, they made their statement clear that this defensive side is theirs to hold on to. Being on match point, you know that Plunderstück are really feeling the pressure for this one. And that pressure is not gonna stop for 5 rounds consecutively. You can't make a single mistake in the way that you open up a lot of these floorings and the walls. Workshop will be opened up here. They do have a slight bit of a different entry point to really play for, but look at where Pannuhuone are even playing. They're all over the map. And even though workshop control is established, they're not going to be able to go through that quickly.
Don't tell me they're gonna do that. Don't tell me they're gonna do a smoke plan here.
Plant? I think there's a C4 ready. They should have it, right? But it's going to be Push Diamond who takes out 2. He's at Tachanka. Why is he on the first floor? Wait. Why is he on the second floor?
He's on the very top, actually, and from the looks of it, the attackers, they're really stumbling apart. Like, what the actual hell is happening? I kind of understand that Tachanka is trying to play off the ACOG scope and with the Shumika launchers as well, which can go
He
come
didn't
flying
even
all the way
place
from the
down a
top floor.
shield. He still has the ballistic shield.
I think Tachanka's
It's
one
not
kind of
rolling
makes sense
Tachanka?
because I'll give him the benefit of that, because I think he was focusing on the long line of sight when it comes to going for those Shumika launches, so he didn't quite need the shield. So that can be understood, but what couldn't be understood is, like, seriously, like a smoke plan on those regards, considering the fact that there is a vertical hole. I know the plan was to block off the Mera window and then go for the plan, but that's just the first line of defense. You can still be C4'd. You can still be C4'd onto that default, not the default plans, but on the right side of the open area. And then there are vertical angles by the Legion and probably by the Tachanka as well, as you just said, Aggie, because to me, I kind of believe that the Legion was holding the second floor, or should I say the ground floor, and right above him, as there is IT, the Tachanka was holding it with the ACOG scope. Just imagine how well this was planned. If it was that way, that is, unless it was something which was a dumb block or something, but I'm not able to say that. But
He forgot to place down his ballistic shield. Like, that's what, like, really is surprising me. You picked the Chonka, right? Because you wanted to anchor. This guy's like, no. Like, I don't talk about anchoring here. I want to be the one who roams now. He became vigilant. He's just like zooming around the place. He got 2 kills, goddammit. It's just surprising. You can see that Pannuhuone, they really came into this map with a plan, and they're making sure that that plan works out flawlessly. But as map number 2 is going to be rolling around pretty soon too, Christo, I'm kind of worried on what Skyscraper is going to be looking like.
I really hope that the devastation doesn't crack up on the side of Plunderstück, because I can tell Pannuhuone wants to take their revenge on their opposition, but Plunderstück, now they're actually crumbling under the pressure as it seems, and it kind of breaks my heart to see the way they are having this struggle. But I do believe after a little time out, they're gonna be able to pick themselves right back up, and they should be just fine going into the map of Skyscraper. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back in a few. As Thunderstruck prepares themselves, so do we with the game of Skyscraper right on the corner. We'll be back in a few.
Faint lights in the distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs.
Hey, game sounds don't exist. Yeah. And
Alright,
now
ladies
we're
and gentlemen,
back
now
here. Oh,
you take
you
it,
want to
you
take
take
it? No, you take it. You take it.
Come
Ladies
on,
first.
man,
Ladies
being
first.
so
Ladies
goddamn
first.
generous.
Oh no, ladies first. Go on ahead.
Okay, I'll let this guy win over me, even though hopefully I do live in Europe, so I can definitely agree on that. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the stream again between the matchup between Pannuhuone and Plunderstück on the best of three series. The first map has already been wrapped up by the side of Pannuhuone on a scoreline of 7-1. So, before we go into the second map of Skyscraper, we kind of want to have a look onto the standings we have on this tournament because the grand finals are definitely around the corner. So, what is gonna be something we're gonna be expecting? So from the looks of it, it is Make Your Destiny who has already made their way to the grand finals. Plunderstück, they have played the most amount of games, but from the looks of it, they're also having a hard time because even though they have 9 points, yeah, I think it is an elimination bracket, right, Aggie? Because
Yeah.
after this series, it's technically gonna be the side of Panhuan able to take the lead for themselves, and if they happen to win, that is, and move
Yeah.
on to the grand finals as well. So yeah, that's that.
One of the bigger problems would be like whoever gets that second place position is going to be all dependent on Plunderstück and Pannuhuone right here, right now. Now, looking at the overall like scenario, Plunderstück are in a better spot just because they have that one extra match played under their belt. Now, this is the fifth and final map for Pannuhuone. If Pannuhuone are able to take a 2-0 victory here, they're guaranteed their position moving forward up against Plunderstück. But if they win on a 2-1 scoreline, then I do believe is where the problems will really start to arise.
Oh, it's
Then
point
we
based,
need
yeah,
to look
right.
at this. Yeah, and then we have to look at the score differentials between the two teams because that's where the points won't even matter as much because both teams are going to have the same amount of points.
Well, that is gonna be a concern for them, but as of now, I think the pressure is gonna be a lot more focused onto the game itself. On the map of Skyscraper, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be heading in, and now Thunderstück, they know exactly how their opposition is gonna be focusing on these particular gunfights, or should I say the map control. We have seen this several times, and we know how strong the players of Panwan are on attack, as they will be starting on defense this time. What's gonna be the answer from the side of Thunderstück? Again, off topic by the way. Somehow, Aggie, I feel like eventually there's gonna be a day when we're supposed to take an intro, and both of us are just silent. We're like, oh, is he not taking it, or is he not taking it? I'm like, huh? So, yeah, imagine if that happens, man.
I think it already has happened. We have done this a bunch of times already.
ESPL, I think.
Yeah. I think we have done it in the past. Like this, we have sat through like multiple different broadcasts at this point. I've lost count. We probably fumbled something from time to time, but here in the EON League, those kind of fumbles do not happen. We are extremely professional. We're here to bring you the best kind of R6 action that you could have, ladies and gentlemen. And two incredible teams are in front of your screens for this particular one. Just a recap though of what happened in that last map. It was a 7-1, sorry, victory for the members of Pannuhuone. Not really that big of a surprise. We knew that was going to happen for that first initial map because it was Nighthaven Labs. So, Plunderstück, this is your do or die. Either you get this map under your belt or you're just out of the EON.
Yeah, there's really no better way to say that, sadly, because it really is difficult to even think about it. But at the same time, that's exactly how competition works. So, yeah, the players of Plunderstück, they're really gonna be having a lot of pressure this time. But hopefully, they are ready to take this head on. We don't see any. Never mind. I was about to say we don't see any shields, but I do see the blitz being picked up from the side of Coxey. So, I do want to know exactly how the shield is going to be utilized from the attacking side. I do see a Finka as well, so that shield is going to be a lot more scary, if I want to be honest, when it comes to taking those fights head on. And I'm not sure if the Finka happens to have an LMG as well. I do remember back in the days, the Finka LMG used to be meta because somehow the 6041 didn't have much recoil and it hit like a truck. Technically, it was a two-shot LMG with 100 round drum magazines. So you can, on paper, if you're not hit-shotting, that is, kill 50 players on one spray. Considering the fact that you just have to kill one-tenth of the player counts you could have killed. On with that LMG, and now we do see the LMG being brought up as well, and now the defenders. Looks like they're kind of expecting an early push here because for some reason they are kind of confined near the objective. I do see some presence onto the exhibition side, but it's not really something you have to worry about because they can fall back to the shrine side or the dragon side instantaneously when the call's made out.
Absolutely. They're playing their cards right properly. The fact they're able to do so. It's really the biggest burn mark for it all. Still the hit yet to be understood, and never mind in case I don't think he's aware of
Good
the player that's right
flash.
behind him. They're gonna jump through the window. They're looking for the kill. They're not gonna be
Diffuser,
able to find it
hello?
almost immediately. Wait a second. They're trying to push in towards the angle, and they're gonna be able to do so. But instead, it's gonna be trades galore coming in from either side. From Chaos. From the Chaos side, it seems as though it's going to be a 2v2 almost immediately. I kind of got lost in my own thought right there. I didn't know how to even explain this because the way that this was entirely played out was just a big surprise at the 4-0. Okay, the 4-0 smoke tried to destroy the air jab there, but
jab.
he's just going to get caught out by it instead. The Nomad low on HP, but all the other defenders, they're still going to be able to stabilize. This is what Pannuhuone does, right? Even though it was such a chaotic situation, all their players were just so prepared and ready for those shots. Instantaneous
winnable.
trade coming in from the sidelines, all up to Meepy. Knows the angle and the position of the last player. He goes in for the shots, and the TMR is just so much better in the hands of the Aruni. Beautiful kill indeed, and the members of Pannuhuone, they take round number 1 for themselves.
It was a really messy round from both of the sides, if I want to be honest, because both the teams were able to bring it to a 1v1, but to some degree, there were some unnecessary peaks as well. Okay, I understand the Blitz has to go aggressive, so he did just that. So at least the Blitz was able to find values, but why did the Blitz have the Diffuser? Just imagine if the Nomad was not able to take the refrag of the Blitz, that round would have been over right there, even though, yes, kudos to the defenders for securing the round regardless. But these just don't add up when you think about it, because in the end, the players who are supposed to take the entry, you can take the entry, but leave the Diffuser who's playing aggressive, or should I say someone who's playing near the objective. At least you have a chance to recover it. Yes, kudos to the Nomad again for recovering it, but how often do you want to rely on those particular instances? These are really getting down to the wires, and if the players of Plunderstück capitalize on these particular moments, you will falter even once, and that one falter can even cause you the momentum you have if you can build that up down the line. But for now, so that of Pannuhuone, they are opting to go for an exhibition side. They do have the bandage along with the Goyo as well, so going for breaches is going to be a little bit more difficult, so no surprises there, along with the Fenner being brought out in case someone tries to take aggressive map control. Maybe if they want to spread out onto the windows or the breaches, they're going to be free to do so. So standard lineup coming in from the side of the defenders. The attackers, however, the same thing. Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of expected to have a shield, but hopefully for them, they don't have anything. The ace is also brought up, allowing them to have a lot more map control. And the weaponry they have, they're really ready for a frag show.
Absolutely. They're playing the long game out here, and they're playing it so smartly too. But overall, you can see that good amount of control already being established by defenders in this exact position. EK's already in for the fight. He's looking for another kill. He's not going to be able to get out of it scotch-free, but that's honestly a really good trait to have. You took out the Zofia for the bandit. And yeah, I understand that you may want to do a little bit of bandit tricking, but having that Zofia on that arsenal could have been such an issue in those late rounds, especially when that gadget can instantly go in for stuns.
Not even sure where the players are falling one by one, but the problem is they're not having too much of a value here. The biggest problem is that was also, the, as you said, the Zofia and the Buck. The utilities could have been a bit more useful, at least considering the fact that there's a lot of soft angles being deployed by the attack by the defenders. So you could have destroyed those. Oh my god, Meepy, you monster. A one tap with a vector is something you usually don't see because of the high RPM, but guess what? Meepy still does it. He is real clean and real quick with that, and now it's all up to the Lion King. Problem is, Mufasa's dead now. It depends if Scar is gonna allow Simba to be the predecessor here. Problem is, there's a lot of hyenas available, and now they're just trying to hunt down one by one. Simba's trying to find it. There's almost an opportunity to find one, and yes, he will find the first, but there's 3 more angry hyenas if I have to refer to them. And looks like it's gonna be a real devastating one because he doesn't have much to work with. Confirmations are there onto the line. No diffuser in hand here, Aggie, and now it's a lot of pressure with 40 seconds left on the clock. And sadly, there is no way he can say Hakuna Matata.
I want to say no worries, but there's a lot more to worry about for them here. As the players already swing
Nice
across,
shot.
and look at the Fenrir. He's just so prepared for this one as well. Just look at him. He's ready for the angle. He's like, yep, I know exactly where you're going to be showing up. The reads on the members of Pannuhuone are just so incredible to see. They're carrying all the momentum that they had in map number 1 and just straight out shifting it to map number 2, not even stopping for a single second on a lot of these beats here. This is exactly what you want to see when R6 is being played at such a high level, but you would think that Plunderstück, they would have had a proper read on the situation. But Pannuhuone, they are not really a readable team. They're just throwing caution into the wind and just
Attackers
going
need
with
to
the flow.
locate and defuse bombs.
They're not going with the flow. They're literally swimming on the flow. They're surfing on the flow, and the tides are taking them to the islands they deserve to be, and the islands they want to be as well. It feels like a treasure hunt for them. Sadly, can't say the same for the pirateers from the side of Plunderstück. And funny enough, they are the ones who are supposed to plunder. Somehow that pun was not intended, but somehow it just kind of made sense. And now on a 2-0 situation, the attackers, they are opting to go for an exact same lineup they had. They do have a sledge this time. I do appreciate that, but in my opinion, I would have appreciated if they happened to have a fuse or a ram. But then again, a ram would have been a bit more commendable because their opposition are playing a echo. It's picking up the pulse. So going for those vertical angles are going to be a little bit more difficult, but at the same time, they'll have to deal with this directly and head on. The sledge being the only acceptable vertical operator being available. It's gonna be challenging, but looks like the Pulse is really doing his level best to find information, as he already found the confirmation on someone on Benz. There's a pretty heavy presence on the top 4 side as well from the attackers, so how do you take this vertical fight?
Just have to take a little bit of a risk, I would say, trying to go in for these engagements. Again, the overall positions, though. The members of Plunderstück, they've made a lot of ground here already, taking over full lobby control. They just need to try and fight for it, though. Hallway is theirs, and Dokubi Call already utilized. That's
What
a
the
Pulse
hell?
now getting shot
He ran
down,
out.
trying to go in for a run out here. Even he's laughing for that one. He's not really expecting that to happen. And generally, the Pulse should not be the player that goes in for the runouts either. So, a bit ambitious, but it's Pannuhuone for you. They're really confident in their overall take.
That they are, but that was indeed a really heavy investment. But hopefully for the defenders, they do have the HP advantage because the Sledge is kind of low on HP. Not sure exactly who caused that, but they can keep that up for X amount of time. They should be just fine. But for now, the X is equal to 1 minute and a half. A minute and a half.
Oh my god, that
Too
would have been
close
so
for comfort,
bad.
isn't it?
I don't think any of the players were ready for that one. He was like slow walking up, so he made like absolutely no noise. And good God, if that was a kill in the favor of Plunderstück, this round could have been all but over.
Castle, does he know the Sledge is there? Because if you know the Sledge is not going to be breathing for any longer, considering the fact that there's too many angles for the Sledge to cover,
Yeah,
do
he
not go
knows.
there, my guy. He knows there is a line of sight. So does the Frost now. There are 2 ACOGs available from the attacking, from the defensive side. And they
Look
will
at the
be
castle, look at the
shutting...
castle. The castle. He's gonna fucking get tossed. Oh no, he got
Well.
caught. That is such a bad position. He got naded, so he had to run away. I was watching it from the sidelines, and it was so heartbreaking. The castle stayed in that position for so long, trying to kill that Sledge, but the player coming in from the staircase is always going to be a problem. I do believe that the drone is the thing that's bottoming out here. 2v2 now across the entire map, as the Frost could be playing with fire, and he's going to be the one who's coming out on top of this one. The vertical line of sight, so beautifully created. He's just going to keep on going in for McCloudly. So good for the angle, but Meepy is in the perfect position to shut everything down with the SMG-11. Beautifully played out round here, ladies and gentlemen, by the members of Pannuhuone. They played the verticals, they played the bottom side as well, and this was just such a well played out round of Siege. You couldn't have anything to complain about.
Absolutely not. The players of the attacking side, they were able to take some map control, even though the players of Pannuhuone did go over aggressive. For example, the Pulse running out, but even after that, they were able to keep themselves on the top. And kind of gotta love the fact that these are indeed coming down to 1v1s, but to some degrees, I kind of want to say that the players of Pannuhuone, they're just having fun at this point. They know their players are capable of making clutches, so that's why they're just diving in one by one. And Plunderstück, good fights from their side, but now that they're kind of struggling with the fact that they're kind of struggling with the bare basics as well. Because again, when it comes to kitchen defense, you can definitely go for a take onto the tea room, which you did, perfect. But at least break the window on Geisha, because if you do so, the Frost is gonna be having a lot more pressure. Again, I've said this previously on several occasions, even on this particular series as well, that if you open some windows, sometimes there is a ghost player defenders have to be paranoid about, because they may even expect that, okay, maybe there's someone outside of the window. What if I don't know about it? And that allows the attackers to have some free map control even while not being there. Somehow that's kind of not in the play for the time being from the side of Plunderstück. But hey, there's still time. They can still make it happen, as they are opting to go for a unusual take, if I want to be honest, because having an Osa for an ace, this can go in many ways, but I'm really interested to see how the Raura is going to be utilized here. Where is the push starting from?
Razor wire in position.
Question marks for either end, as the Raura is honestly not a bad pickup though. You kind of explained it to me as well, Chris. So the Raura is a really strong op if you do have a game plan, but Plunderstück, they have yet to showcase to us exactly how they're going to execute on a lot of those game plans that they're trying to set up. They're opening up the frontal wall here, trying to take over the balcony position for themselves. A couple good flash placements for the sidelines, but the smoke canister always causing those issues. They're going to try to run this one away. The nade getting tossed over his head pretty much. He's looking for the bottom spot. He's expecting the angle to fight to already come through. And because of these smoke canisters, the Osa can't really play as aggressively to try and give his team a little bit more information. That's going to be the opening kill already given to the members of Pannuhuone, and they lost out on the demos. That's going to be such a big information that's like such a big information gathering tool already being shut down in the first couple of seconds of the round.
It's really early on, and now they're starting to bleed pretty significantly when you think about it, because they still are focusing on those black stairs. I mean, I'm not complaining, but you kind of need to focus on the fact that you could have taken Geisha as well. But on the brighter side of life, the Raura is going to be able to make sure the people in T-room stays inside of T-room, at least from one door at least. So with that, they should be fine going for an execution onto the DJ side. Or should I say karaoke? Yeah, karaoke. But Azami playing that shotgun is going to be on the prime position, because she is making footholds from a really long distance, making sure that in case there are something which can go wrong, doesn't go wrong. And now the shield being deployed by the Osa. I think she has one more talent shield available. Yes, she does. And with that, they should be just fine going for the plans. But the biggest problem is, with the lines of sight being available from the defensive side, with the shotguns as well, or DMRs as well, this is not going to be the easiest push when you think about it, considering the fact that with the Warden is still very much alive, and now the hallway needs to be covered, the T-room needs to be covered as well. The Warden can't even go for the C4. The C4 will be tossed in one by one, and it's going to be raining out, but there is not much damage which has been deployed by the defender's side quite yet. It is going to be Cloudy able to find a double, as Nike is able to get rid of the Planter. So technically kudos to the defenders, as they were also able to deny the Planter.
Such a well-played round coming out from them. They still have to worry about a bunch of the other angles. They're not playing it as aggressively just that they're allowing the plan to go down completely. First initial lines of sight already being created here. Osa's position now known, but they need a way to clear this one out. The Azami Kiba barricades are slowly coming on back for this fight, but they need to be quick with this one. 30 seconds left on the clock. There's not really a lot of space that they can really play for. This is so smart. They're going to be able to isolate out all of these angles, but the thing is, the Osa's shield still up and present, causing a lot more of the issues in towards the opposite side. The Azami is just not going to be able to do anything here. Plunderstück, they get this run purely on the basis of the Osa. The Osa plays down two shields in two different spots. It's impossible to try and fight against these players.
Oof. Gotta admit, Plunderstück really planned that out after all, because they were able to put those shields, and I have to admit, I cannot exaggerate this enough. The Nomad holding back from the shield was the pinnacle of the game, because number one, I'm damn sure there was a air jab as well on the door, so she can be safe. She can just leave the window. She's like, meh, I don't even care, because number one, I have a shield. Number two, in case my teammate dies, only then I have to peek. That is an indication how well the coordination is starting to gather up at the moment, because that's what they need in the coming rounds. They don't need to find the frags. They don't need to make hero plays. Instead, they need to play as a team, and that's exactly what they did on the previous round. Plunderstück finally able to find their footings on a 3-1 scoreline. Yes, definitely, it is still favoring the players of Pannu on a two-round lead, but at least with this foundation being established, they will be able to find the answers they're looking forward to. This is going to be an objective change from the side of Pannu. So, question remains if they are ready for this particular objective being taken. Because, truth be told, whatever they did previously is working, and it will work on the same objective as well, as long as they do the basic stuff and they keep themselves calm. Again, it's not about the frags anymore. It's about how you play as a team. Get one less frag, it's fine. Just make sure the plan's going down as well and you are burning time. In the end, as long as you're winning rounds, nobody's gonna give a damn what's your KD ratio.
Absolutely. That's what you really want to see here in this game of Siege here, ladies and gentlemen. Two more rounds separate both of these teams from a possible 5-1 or a 3-3 scoreline. Who are gonna be the ones to try and take this one away? Cloudy in a good position to utilizing this glass here, but immediately Pannuhuone just takes that first initial kill. The glass instantly gets shut down, and mind you, you don't want to lose your glass out this early. Your smokes are not even down and out yet. You're already losing out on so many bodies. The Fenrir still trying to fish out even more kills over from the sidelines, and the overall positioning, the timing just instantly gets taken away. The Dokubi nearly takes a backseat, and good God, the call's going to be given to just deter these defenders from taking even more aggressive angles. Good couple of pop shots being taken here from the sidelines, but they're just not able to find the kill. Nambi, if he died there, that could have been a pretty good start for the members of Plunderstück to really move into the map.
But I love how the players of Pannuhuone is also Pannuhuone trying to hold it onto the drum side, because they're not giving away too much space whatsoever. And the moment they're losing any players, they're just taking the refrag instantaneously. And I was expecting this peak, and he's gonna find success. There's just no surprises here, because when you have such a good hold onto the drum side or taiko side, there's not much the attackers can do, and that's exactly where you need to open up the window onto the balcony, which is open, but sadly not much contentions available. It looks like that's exactly where they're gonna falter, because from the looks of it, Lambi was able to find one more because it was a trade, and now it's all up to the Nomad with the diffuser in hand. But with 1 minute left on the clock, he needs to find isolations, and from the looks of it, I do believe there is a Warden who's trying to be a little bit more greedy, but then again, he is low on HP, so I will give him the benefit of doubt. And these players are also insane when it comes to playing those SMG-12s. So they have solidified their position yet again, but somehow, when it comes to hunkering down on a particular position, Pannuhuone, I keep forgetting the goddamn name. Pannuhuone just doesn't let the positions go. That hunker down onto the taiko side is just a wrapping paper for them to create a gift of their own as well. As the time slowly but surely creaks down, there is not much they can do here. So it will be sorted out, but the bulletproof camera is giving them all the information they can even ask for. The drone hole was there, but hopefully for Push Diamond, he is not being greedy whatsoever, as he's trying to burn time. The Goyo canisters are being a real pain here, as they're simply gonna be burning up the area, and there's no time either. What are you gonna do about it, man?
They just go into the waiting arms of the defenders and hope for the best, pretty much. As this mistake's made, as a good shot comes through from the Warden as well. Pannuhuone just have full control over all of these different avenues, and knowing them, they're not gonna stop stepping on the gas pedal anytime soon. There's so much more to give in these particular rounds, ladies and gentlemen, and you can tell exactly why.
You know, I will say that Pannuhuone are playing exceptionally good. I'll give you that. But at the same time, it's not something which is like really out of the ordinary. It is kind of something which we do expect in a lot of regards. So Plunderstück, they're kind of on a shell shock over here. So I do want to give them the benefit of doubt, but they're kind of having a bad time at the moment. But then again, considering the fact that they were able to find a really good opening on the kitchen barbecue side objective last time, I can hope the same to happen this time. But except for the fact that they can probably have a little bit more basic approach, in my opinion, because if you happen to take geisha control, you really don't need much T control when you think about it, because you have two objectives to go for a plan, of course, but you know, when it comes to a plan, the kitchen does offer you a lot more cover, because there are the close angles next to the door. There is also the kitchen counters and whatnot. But when it comes to barbecue, you just have one pillar, that's it. If you happen to have the cover behind the pillar, yeah, congratulations, now you can plan. But even then, karaoke is insanely destructible, and undoubtedly the defenders are going to be playing those angles, because they have done the same thing previously, and now they're going to do the exact same thing again. The smokes are going to be there, the Frost is making a run for it, and he's expecting someone to jump in. Hopefully for him, for the attackers, Nobody is taking the bait quite yet, but with the alibi, they're also making sure these pushes are gonna be delayed as much as they possibly can. Gotta love it. They are focusing on Geisha now. This should be much more easier for them to take the approach.
Yeah, I get that's a little bit more of a slow running approach to say the very least. I'm kind of worried though, as this is a very risky ploy being taken by the members of Plunderstück. They could be going in for a full-on smoke play with a player just diving in almost instantly, trying to go in for the kill. That's gonna be Lamby taking a back seat. That's a beautiful kill to have. The ace able to open up the map at the bare minimum, but even with man advantages, we have really seen the members of Plunderstück struggle for these last couple of rounds, as it seems as though these crossfire setups being done by Pannuhuone and those instantaneous trades that they're known to get are just so difficult to try and stop. Plus, with the Pulse giving so much active
Nice.
information, it could be an even more of a bigger issue, but never mind. Blunted, able to find the opener, and that's a big one for them to find as well. That's a mute getting taken off of the table, and that's a big C4 that could have been utilized to try and shut down your team.
The biggest C4 is still very much alive in the hands of Pulse, but I don't think he's gonna be using it anytime soon, because the alibi is still very much alive and burning time. With 1 minute left on the clock, the attackers do have man advantage, but now they have to commit the objective as well. The biggest problem is gonna be the alibi, who can definitely go for the vertical angles or maybe the flanks as well. But looks like there will be some gunfights coming in here and there, but it's gonna be Blunted, who's gonna be coming up on top, and now it is gonna be all onto the Pulse. But in the end, it is gonna be the recruit who will find the advantage. But I think it was a trade, so we were just gonna be having a highlight of the Ash. So to the side of Plunderstück, not a bad half now that I think about it, because at least it was not a 5-1. I don't know if it was a 5-1 previously, but now with a 4-2, with them on defense, they should be just fine stacking up the rounds on their own defensive side. But Pannu, good God, they're super strong on their attack, as they have showcased in the last round. So is it going to remain identical? I kind of don't want to believe that, but it may even just work out. A gridlock being banned, by the way, Aggie. Isn't that
Not
part
that
of
big
ban?
of a, no, it's not that big of a surprise. Think about it. Gridlock in this particular map just blocks off so many different lines of sight that. Okay, so I'll put it into perspective, right? When you're trying to push in through
Stairs.
Shrine Balcony, yeah, when you're trying to push in through Shrine Balcony, what's one of the biggest problems that you have in that particular position? A player that could be playing on the top of the staircase, and let's just say you playing as a gridlock, you just toss over. I forgot the name of it. I'm just gonna call it the spikes. You toss over the
Tracks,
spikes
the
on the
tracks.
staircase. Yeah, you toss over the tracks onto that one staircase, and you instantly block off that entire position. So the players that could be trying to rotate from that bottom floor by dropping down from drums can't really make that rotation anymore. Or even if a player is now sitting in that one exact spot, he can't run away, because if he starts to run away, he's going to take a lot of damage trying to get away from a possible name that you would be tossing into that exact direction. So it's a smart ban coming in from the members of Plunderstück. This is a setup that can work out for them, but this is so oddly specific that it feels like Plunderstück, they have done this in a scrim, and we probably could be witnessing a set strat for the defensive side that we have not seen before.
Chances are very high, but now I kind of feel like it's gonna be because of the fact that they're playing Clash. I'm not sure if it is something which is gonna be designed for that, but I kind of want to believe that Plunderstück wants to take some aggressive takes, so they're like, okay, what if they put up gridlocks where we don't want them to? So instead, we're gonna allow the Clash to be a bit more flexible and then go for aggressive takes. But at the same time, mind you, the Capital remains unbanned, with the Yang being banned here. And now the Nomad's gonna be giving a confirmation that there is a Clash holding onto the karaoke window. Sorry, the karaoke door. Now confirming that there is not gonna be any aggressions from the Clash here. Putting up the air jabs as well. Taking control of that, not exactly a control, but showing up presence. But I think the main presence is gonna be from the exhibition side, because I did see the blitz and the floor is droning there. So if that's gonna be their plan, I'm all in for it, because truth be told, when you go for these particular pushes, you may have a higher rate of success. And looks like Blunted is going to the first line of contact, and he's gonna be taken out as well. Not sure exactly where the frag happened, but now this is giving away confirmation. There are players on Shrine. And what the actual hell? Nomad is diving in once again. Hello. And now he also ran away, destroying the Goyo, making sure the player in Shrine stays in Shrine.
Okay, Lamby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry whoever hurt you, but good God, this guy just has no respect for his opposition. He's just walking everywhere. Like I'm not even gonna blame Plunderstück for this, right? If this happened to us in rank, we would be furious.
We should be, truth be told, because I think the Nomad was just waiting that, okay, if the Clash is not here, I don't think anybody's here, because he was there first and then he went back to the Blitz. So the Blitz or someone else made the call out and he's like, okay, pretty realistic for me. What if I just take it? And he just did. I don't know, they're just brute forcing this as much as they can. And the best part of it is it's working.
To locate and defuse as
It's
many
working
bombs
like
as
if
they can.
there's no other obstacles available to the attacking side. And now with 5-2, they're just one round away from putting themselves on match point. Plunderstück, a really good attempt from their side, but the element of surprise is something they just did not expect. And now, I hate to say it, but I think they'll have to. I'm not sure if the last round was the same play. I think it was Lambie who did the same thing on the map of Nighthaven last, the very first round, using the striker, just diving in and getting 3 kills. Well, this is just a different level of aura farming, my guy.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Lambie's just so hard to
Attackers have
keep a
discovered
track
the
of,
location of a bomb.
especially when he's just
Attackers are
running
heading
around
out
the
to defuse
side
bomb.
uncontested pretty much. He nearly got the second too. Can you imagine if your Nomad gets a second player just by running across into the side from Shrine balcony? Imagine if there was an actual gridlock there. He just places like those places the spikes straight, sorry, the tracks straight on that staircase, and players just couldn't really fight into him anymore. It's just so much of a problem, to say the very least. Like Plunderstück, they had a good idea, but again, they just can't predict what Pannuhuone are trying to do. I don't even think Pannuhuone know what they're trying to do. They just want gunfights.
They just didn't win gunfights. They actually took the gunfights to their opposition as well. as if they're like, okay, you know what? I know you're trying to play savior the defender, so of course you're gonna be trying to burn the time as much as you can. Now that you have a clash as well, what if we take the gunfight directly on your face? That's exactly what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, as they're just taking the gunfights to the opposition. And once again, it is an Azami taken off really quickly. The biggest problem is that he was playing inside of Tycho, and now Tycho is completely lost. There is one player available, that is the Mute, but playing against an ace, apologies for that, playing against an ace on that angle,
Oh
gonna be
no!
difficult for them.
What
And
is
now
this
look at the
pixel
angle,
peak?
Graston.
Good catch though, Herbis. That's good.
No.
God, like, I don't know. How are they gonna get away with these angles too? The Bliss. He
The
should've died.
bait, the bait.
He's still alive.
That's what I said. It. Hopefully for that defenders, there's only one thing which is happening good for them, that they were able to take the ace out of the equation, and now with
What?
that on the board,
I don't think he saw him. That could have been a kill.
yeah, I think he did see him actually. He just couldn't connect the shot, but I don't know if the diffuser is on the floor outside of ventilation, because if it is, the attackers will have to burn some valuable time to recover the diffuser going down into ventilation. Again, I'm not 100% certain about it. But now with the clash on a 1v4, it's going to be difficult, but then again, not the worst operator you wanted to have on a 1v4, but I guess it is Lambie who is going to be having the best day of his life, because you don't want this guy on a 1vx. Whatever it is, he's simply going to be taking the fights to you, and he's going to win it. It's going to be Pannuhuone sitting on match point and map point, and probably looking down to face against the side of MYD on the grand finals on a 6-2 scoreline. Plunderstück. I hate to say it, but their backs are against the wall now.
They're doing pretty much everything that they can to really send a message to their opposition here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm all here for it. That's the beauty of Siege as a game, right? That
Defenders, protect your bombs
you
from
never
being
really know
defused
what
by
to expect
attackers.
from your opponents if given the chance, the opportunity to just explore the different options. And Pannuhuone, their creativity just seems to have no bounds here. They're constantly switching up their
Bomb
overall
located by
strategies. The
attackers.
angles that they're holding as well up against Plunderstück is just unheard of. Especially that one particular fight being done by Rustillo just didn't make any sense. Like the fact that he just knew that a player was going to be rotating from that exact angle and then immediately had the perfect spray control to get that kill
10
as well.
seconds to insertion.
Those kind of picks don't happen often. But for Pannuhuone, it seems to be a reality
5
every
seconds to
single
insertion.
round.
They're actually dictating the reality at this point, and there's no other way to say it. From the looks of the Plunderstück, they're kind of crumbling here because now they're opted to go for their comfort peak. I have seen Blunted on Ella before, and yes, he can indeed go for insane frags with Ella, but that's also an indication that they are focusing on frags now. I understand that they are not having the best of it when it comes to having the gunfights, and hopefully for them they will be able to find an opening thanks to Blunted, because he was right underneath the bandit. But the problem is the bandit is super low on HP because they were ready for the bandit to be taken out from below. Hopefully for the younger sister, she was able to take the revenge on the bigger on the elder one, and Blunted is going AWOL over here as she's just going in for aggressive plays one by one, able to find a triple of his own, and now probably now we're looking for the ace as well. But the problem is he is super low on HP with 14 kills on his name. He's definitely angry, and he should be as well. The Blitz and the ace rendezvousing together, but still Blunted, he doesn't even care. He's just going in one by one, but in then he will be shut down, not allowed to have the ace. But it is the ace who will have to go for the 1v4 now. The two of the players are super low on HP, but it's gonna be the Deagle who's gonna be diving in, and Blunted is gonna be like, I don't even know what happened, but guess what, my guy, you have become a monster, able to keep your team alive on a match point of your opposite on your opposition's match point. Round 10, still match point to the side of Pannuhuone.
Yeah, that one round is all that they needed. The members of Plunderstück are still alive and kicking for this one. But it's going to be a tough climb, similar to exactly what we witnessed from map number 1. It's never going to be as simple. A pause has been called here, apparently, but I don't think we're going to be going in for the pause real soon, I do believe. As Herbus. It's my boy there.
I mean, I don't think they actually called for a pause. I think he just misclicked to type a T in the chat. But then again, usually press T if you want to chat. So not sure if it was something which was planned. Who knows? Who knows? That's something we just
I saw it as a
never
P,
know.
dude. I need to get the new glasses. God damn it. I thought it was
Yeah,
P.
get your eyes checked as well, man. I don't even know how long you've been wearing that glasses, so better get them checked and make sure you're up to date as well, because glasses are technically the graphics cards for your eyes. So
Yeah, I think I need new drivers.
well, I'm afraid of upgrading my drivers because anyway, that's something we're gonna be talking about later. But for now, I'm not really surprised to see an Ella being kept by Blunted, because he is a menace to society with that, and he's gonna keep being a menace for the time being. We did see a bandit and a blitz being banned over here, so kind of feels like a targeted ban from both of the sides, comes understanding that they want the freedom to go for the breaches, and at the same time they want to make sure that the blitz is not causing too much of a trouble. But the fact is that Pannuhuone is still running the shield thanks to Push Diamond. Their meta is to play the shield, and truth be told, I'm all in for it, because their opposition, or should I say MYD, is technically doing the same thing. Even on defense, they're running a clash. So I guess you want that comfortability to harass your opposition and make sure that they stare at you consistently. That is not a bad idea, because that can definitely ruin a crosshair placement of a player. For now, never mind. Okay, I know that. Actually, I thought, is he trying to destroy the barricade now? But now I realize that he's trying to destroy the air jab instead.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart coming out from them too. Killing out that air jab early just allows you to go in for so many more active run outs over from the sidelines. But I think he rushed that air jab positioning as well.
Yep.
He's probably got a good angle on this, and they're not going to be expecting this. The Ella might try to come out and destroy that air jab in that exact instance, and that's when...
So?
Yeah, he's going to destroy that air jab. He's giving away information. There's going to be a lot of free space now that the Nomad can even just walk up on. This is big for them. The Sella's up close and personal on the angle, already looking for the 5. It's going to be beefy. Doesn't really get the kill, but they have a lot of free space to play for. The Nation throws a soup can right onto the floor of the body, and now he's just kind of stuck here. He's not going to be able to move anywhere.
You know, back in the days when Twitch drones couldn't jump, and most of the time people just used to put a shield right in front of it, not destroying it, to make sure that the Twitch suffers the most, because she has a drone, but he can't use it. And now good utilization of the goo mine as well. Yep, good utilization of the goo mine along with the Goyo. able to get rid of the Monty, but the refrag does come in and looks at the attackers that are doubling down on this. They're getting frags one by one. Rastin able to find another one, and I saw the Coxey in a 1v3, able to make it a 1v. Actually, it was a 1v4, but able to make it a 1v3. Now needs to find the field of frags one by one, but the informations have been revealed. Shotgun in hand, will be able to tag up the Nomad significantly, but the kills needs to come in. The shots are missing here and there. That's a problem. He's 1 HP as well. The clock is ticking down. It's him versus the world so far, but so in. And there's not much he can do. The angles have been blocked out as well. They're just playing it passively. In the end, it's gonna be the Flores who's gonna find the frag onto him, and it is gonna be none other than the side of Pannuhuone facing off against the side of MYD tomorrow. They are up for this revenge fight. Sadly, for the side of Plunderstück, they could have made it as well, but unfortunately, it's not gonna be happening. Pannuhuone is gonna be your second seed onto the grand final.
A 2-0 victory like this is just a guarantee, a one-way ticket over towards the grand final stage, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really excited for that one tomorrow. It is going to be a BFI. Don't really forget about that one, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a long round of siege. That is for certain. So make sure to hit that follow and, of course, be notified to get notified when we are going to be going on live for all of that jazz. But good God, what I'm really surprised about in particular is the way that Pannuhuone were able to take that last round as well. It was very surgical, right? They didn't really go in for anything overly aggressive. The Nomad had a good position over towards Shrine Balcony. One Dokkaebi call just came in, and then instantly everything evaporated. The entire map got cleared out in like less than half a second. We couldn't even catch the kill feed. That's how quickly all the players just dropped. That's kind of what the reality is like, because Pannuhuone are like a well-oiled machine. All of them are like people from the army. They go in together and they start to take the fights as one particular unit. And I never really saw that coming in from the members of Plunderstück. Maybe the communication lines were just not as clear as you could have hoped for. They do take the third place spot, but it's just harsh to say that the team just didn't really have a good lead on any of these rounds at all.
Well, it is kind of heartbreaking to say it like that, but I do hope the side of Plunderstück, they are going to be able to recover from that now, because truth be told, the Finnish machine we just had over here, Pannuhuone, they're just unrivaled. They're just unparalleled over here, and they just know how to take these fights. And Plunderstück, yeah, they did drop a good luck for tomorrow for that particular team as well. It is heartbreaking, but there's not much to say actually, because they were a dominant force on the last time we saw them against the side of MYD when they were called RPT is back, I think.
Yep.
So they were able to take a good fight, especially on the map of Chalet. I remember, because from what I can remember, they made a comeback against RPT on a 5-1 lead, and then they were able to make it a 7-5. So there's no way in hell I'm gonna say that Plunderstück is a team which can be counted out of the equation. And they have indeed came so far as well into the tournament. They are technically, I think they're on the third position, if I'm not wrong. So there's not much to complain about, but I do hope that they're going to be able to recover from it and be better as a team on the coming tournaments, and they will be able to take a lot more victories as well, perhaps in the future. But for now, it is going to be Pannuhuone and the side of Make Your Destiny. Question remains, if Make Your Destiny can make their destiny on the best of 3, or I don't know if it's going to be a best of 5 series, but best of 5, I think.
Yeah, it's a best of 5.
So yeah, on the best of 5 series. So Pannuhuone, it was indeed a difficult one for them as well, because yesterday they kind of fell short on a 2-1 scoreline against them. So they know where their opposition shines the brightest. This is where they can take their revenge as well. So that's pretty much from my side, Eggy. If you have anything else to add, you are free to do so.
For me personally, I would think like Pannuhuone as a team, they have a lot of problems, especially when it comes down to being overly aggressive and kind of disrespecting their opposition. Yeah, in this particular game, you kind of got away with it, right? Like, you had Lambie just going into T room for free, finding 1 or 2 kills, or even on that first additional map, he just walked into IT straight into the command center and just popped out 3 players. You can do that against Plunderstück, but because their communication lines were not as good. But Destiny is a completely different team, and I'm really hoping that they take tonight to just go back to the drawing board and just go through a couple of their VODs previously, especially the one where Plunderstück did go up against the members of Destiny, where the change really needs to be put into the forefront that you need to understand what is your biggest weakness going into that grand final. Because if you're able to figure that one out, you'll have your revenge story. You're going to be able to build upon it as well. They've lost out on the fight, yes, but the war is still ongoing. And tomorrow, it's going to be the final battle.
Well, in the end, it is something we'll have to focus on, because whoever gets to capitalize and crown themselves on the championship, or should I say crown themselves as the champion? I am actually kind of beating around the bush at this moment because I'm not quite sure what happens next, but I do believe Pannuhuone is gonna be able to take it away as well. But truth be told, the dominant factor, the side of MYD, has been. I really cannot say if they're gonna be having the easiest of games, but that's something which will be answered on the upcoming days, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's pretty much it we have on board, I believe, Aggie. So we're gonna be expecting your presence tomorrow on the Rest of 5 series against MYD and Pannuhuone, who's gonna be your champion on the EON League Season 4, will be answered tomorrow. So till then, it's me, Christmas and Aggie, signing out, unless there is something else for now. So we'll be right back tomorrow and expecting your presence. Bye-bye.
soul as these walls begin to fold. Head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light.